Hello YouTube and welcome to the channel. Now then, today's video is a little bit of a tangential deviation from the normal RC fare, but it's got a tenuous link, so bear with me. We're going to be reviewing this little Ryobi Ergo 4-volt electric screwdriver. Now why? Well, just recently I seem to be doing a lot more spannering, stroke wrenching on RC cars, and it can get a little bit tedious when you're constantly screwing things in and out by hand. Now, there's nothing wrong with a screwdriver, don't get me wrong, but when you've got 20-30 screws to remove from something, it makes a massive difference if you can do something like this. And I'm sick of watching Kev Talbot as well undo things with a DeWalt impact driver, so I thought to myself, this is what I need. Now, years ago I had got a Bosch little handheld screwdriver, but recently it did die, so I've been meaning to replace it anyway. Why have I ended up with a Ryobi one? Well, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I have got a Ryobi drill driver that I've been quite impressed with, but again, it's just too bulky to use for small stuff. So I thought, do you know what, I'm going to buy myself a Ryobi little 4-volt screwdriver and see what it's like. So anyway, that's the backstory. We'll get into it, open it up and see what we get. I have charged the battery in this thing, so I have had it out of the box, so I'm cheating slightly. But let's have a look what we get. Okay, in fact, you know something, there's a nice little case there as well with it. Well, I'll say that one thing for Ryobi, you do get, they are well packaged, and with the drill driver that I bought, you do get a nice carry bag with it as well, nice sturdy, instead of, because I'm not a massive fan of the hard plastic cases, because you can't really fit anything else but the drill in them, but with Ryobi they give you a nice little bag with it. Anyway, that's just going off at a tangent. In the box we get some instructions. Like I say, I've already charged it up. We get the actual little unit itself, which looks quite posh. We get a small selection of screwdriver bits, wall charger, it's USB, and we get a charging lead. Now it charges at the bottom there in that little USB port, and the green light comes on, and when the green light goes off you're ready to rock and roll. So let's take a quick look at the screwdriver itself. Now it's got forward and reverse functions, and you do that by flipping this switch at the bottom. You have to be quite positive with it, otherwise it won't work. So it's got to be all the way to one side or all the way to the other. And basically squeeze the trigger and you're away. You've also got a nice little LED on the front, so you can see what you're doing. And that's basically as technical as it gets. I mean, it's got the standard 1/4" hex screwdriver socket, if you like, at the end. And I think you can get some attachments for it that do some other jobs, but I've just got the plain model. So what we'll do anyway, we'll just find some things to take apart. Now I think we'll take some screws out of this MN chassis here that I've got and see if we can't disassemble bits of it. I'm using one of the screwdriver bits out the kit. What you don't get though, and what I would like to see, is an extension with it as well, because I do like to have a little bit of distance between the tool and whatever it is I'm working on. It does make it easy as well to get into small places, because you can't always get the body of the tool in. So that's one thing I would like. So this is my own extension. You don't get one with the screwdriver. And I will say this is just a cheap one I bought, and it is slightly off center. So if you see the bit wobbling around slightly, it isn't the screwdriver, it's the actual cheap and nasty extension I bought. So now then, the switch for it is either on or off. There's no proportionality towards it, so it's always worth checking that if you want to undo something, you're undoing it, not tightening it, because I think they're quite powerful, these little screwdrivers are, and it wouldn't take much to strip the thread of whatever it is you're trying to undo if you accidentally are doing it up, if you know what I mean. So let's take some screws out of this, see what it's like. I mean, it basically makes the job effortless virtually. I mean, if you've got to do the whole thing, you can imagine how long it would take you with a normal screwdriver. And like I say, it's not through laziness, it's more through time really, saving a little bit of time here and there. So we can take a wheel off, see if it'll fit in the hole for the wheel. Just about. So there, I mean, there's no problem undoing screws out of an RC car. But to be honest, you wouldn't expect it to. You would probably struggle with something, a screw like that in the suspension, because it's quite far down, and don't think the actual bit will fit in there. So things like that you still have to do by hand, but the screws on the chassis, etc., quite easily do with the screwdriver, and it's effortless. It's effortless. It's one speed and non-proportional on the switch. So let's try it with something else, and with it being the standard 1/4 inch driver bit, if you like, you can get all the little bits and pieces for it. This is a 5mm socket for wheel nuts. Obviously you can get a myriad of different driver bits for it, star cross, hex, there's loads. So it's quite versatile. Let's see if we can get these little wheel nuts off here, off this little WL tweeze. Oh. Nearly. Oh, there we go. Effortless. Let's have another one. Oh. There we go. Let's try putting one of the tyres back on as well, as soon as we're taking it off. Oh. Put it in the end. There we go. Superb. Now, like I say, it's non-proportional, so it's fully on or fully off. So I suppose when you're driving things in, tightening things up, you've just got to watch how much force you apply, because I can imagine on little bits and pieces it's quite easy to strip whatever it is you're doing. Okay, well, it's all very well on doing fasteners and little bolts on RC cars, which are relatively easy. Let's see what this thing can do. I'm not going to do a torture test on it or anything, because I really don't want to break it, because I've just bought it. But I'll go and get some different size screws, and we'll try screwing them into a block of wood, see what it's like. So I found a little block of wood, I found 3 different size screws. I know these look very similar, but they're actually a different thickness. That middle one's thicker, and this one is probably the largest I'd want to attempt to, screw in with it using a little screwdriver like this. I mean, to be honest, if that size screw, I think you'd want a drill driver or an impact or something. It's really too big for this, but let's see if it'll do it anyway. And I can't drive it all the way in, because otherwise I'll screw it into the desk. So anyway, let's give it a whirl. Righto then, first screw, here we go. This will show up my cag-handed technique as well. Oh, other way. Ah, no problems with that one. Let's try the bigger one. See what happens. Oof. Did it, but it struggled a little bit, I think. Okay, let's try the big one. Oof. Well, I tell you what, I'm surprised that did that. I mean, that's a fair screw really, and it's been driven into a solid piece of wood. There's no, like I say, there's no pilot holes in any of them, so I think that's done really well. Anything larger than that, I think you risk breaking the thing. Like I say, you really want an impact or a drill drive or something. Let's see if it'll take them out. So first one. No problem. No problem. Oh God. No problem. Like I say, that's pretty much, I mean, it started to struggle with that one, but I'm not entirely surprised. One final thing, let's see if it'll countersink a hole, because I tell you what, there's nothing worse than keep swapping over from your drill to put a countersink into. Yeah, no problem at all. Lovely. So, what do we think of the little Ryobi Ergo 4-volt screwdriver? Well, the honest answer is I'm pretty impressed with it, really. I mean, it's quite small and compact, but it's definitely got some power in it. Especially for 4 volts. Gosh, it doesn't seem to take long to charge up either, which is good. And for RC use, obviously, it's probably more than sufficient. Obviously, you can get loads of different bits, obviously, because it's a 1/4 inch drive. But if you put in some screws in, as long as they're not huge, it'll pretty much do it. Like I say, I think it's probably a little bit too big for you. I mean, you wouldn't want to drive too many of those in, because I think you'd end up ruining it, but it will do it on the odd occasion. I did a little bit of countersinking there with it as well, did that. So yeah, all round, it seems pretty good. I would heartily recommend, if you've got to undo a load of fasteners on a regular basis, something like this takes the monotony out of it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's not the usual RC fare, but it might help somebody out there. So if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more content like this in the future, give it a thumbs up, and please feel free to subscribe. It makes a massive difference. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.